The matrix is everywhere. It is all around us, even now, in this very internet. Do you want to know what it is? You can feel it when you go to work, when you tune into Netflix, when you don't pay your taxes. If you take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed with an erection for hours. If you take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland. You have sweet breath, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
Yo, dog, the Matrix is everywhere, man. You gotta get down. Yo, check it out, man. The Matrix is everywhere. It's everywhere. It's all around us. I'm telling you, it is everywhere. You can't tell? It's everywhere. It's on the internet. It's on Netflix. It's everywhere.
Why the big secret? People are smart. They can handle it.
A person is smart. People are dumb, panicky, dangerous animals, and you know it. 1,500 years ago, everybody knew the Earth was the center of the universe. 500 years ago, everybody knew the Earth was flat. And 15 minutes ago, you knew that people were alone on this planet.
If you watch my intro, I had a word list, the first word of which was indoctrination. Indoctrination is very simple. You just repeat and repeat and repeat. For example, a diamond is
a girl's best friend.
Indoctrination is incredibly effective, especially if you start at a young, malleable age, before one has learned critical thinking skills. We're still in what's called the theta state, where your dreams are real to you. You ever watched a kid play with something? They think it's real. They don't think they're hopping along on a broom, they think they're riding a horse. That's the theta state, where your dreams are still very real to you. Okay, so now the reason I'm going on and on about indoctrination is because they make us all, force us all, to 12 years of mandated schooling. Shoot us full of vaccines, make us salute the flag, heart over the chest, gotta ask permission to pee, to go to the bathroom, all that kind of stuff. They want to turn us into little workers. In a little room where the only toy is
one chop to a guy's neck and it's all over.
One of the first things that we are taught in school is that the Earth is a ball, a sphere, a globe blasting through outer space. And we are taught that this is a proven fact. But is it? For thousands of years, our ancestors believed that the Earth was a flat disk, a disk that surrounded the magnetic north. Be that the North Pole, or the North Star, or Polaris, or the Axis Mundi, or Hyperborea, Mount Meru, whatever it was circular and surrounded the magnetic north. Your compass will always point to the north. And it only works flat. Doesn't work like this. Only works like this. Doesn't work like this. Compass. 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 You've probably heard of Shangri-La, or the Vikings going to Valhalla, or the Nordic version of Asgard. They are all the North. And many thought this was the gateway, or the pillar, or the stairway to heaven. You know, I tried to go to the North Pole. It was so cold up there, and I took a piano with me. We had to chop up the piano, but we only got 2 cords of wood. Ho! Up high! Alexa, up high. All major religions have a version of this. You know what? It's AV time. Many societies of antiquity subscribed to and mapped out the flat earth cosmology and cosmography. And these include the Norse, the Mayans, the Hopi, the Navajo, the Hebrews, the Olmecs, the Aztecs, the Egyptians, the Druid, and numerous others, including China, Greece, and India, all the way up until the 17th century. Not only are they extremely similar, they're almost identical. They're almost identical. Now these are incredibly beautiful and incredibly well thought out, and our forefather explorers counted on the stars to navigate. When the Phoenicians found islands, they named them after the stars that led them there. This is the Babylonian depiction. It's my favorite. Many of these present Earth as having a solid barrier overhead, known to some as the firmament. Alexa, let's pop that on the word list, will you? Firmament. But we aren't really taught much about this in school. And in fact, we're hit with jokes about Columbus sailing off the edge of the earth. No one thought this. The world was already well mapped out long before Columbo. But for some strange reason, we have a holiday and national event based on the slavery and genocide he brought.
What did you make of the Kyrie stuff?
It's true.
What?
The earth is flat.
Shaq, what are you talking about?
The earth is flat.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No,
Listen.
it's not.
There's 3 ways to manipulate the mind. What you read, what you see, and what you hear. In school, first thing they teach us is, oh, Columbus discovered America. But when he got there, it was some fair-skinned people with the long hair smoking out of peace pipes. So what does that tell you? Columbus didn't discover America.
He found where some other people already lived.
I drive from coast to coast, and this is flat to me. I'm just saying.
Okay, that's the dumbest thing you've ever said.
I drive from Florida.
It's the dumbest thing you've ever said.
I drive from Florida to California all the time, and it's flat to me.
That's a high bar to get over.
I do not go up and down in a 360-degree angle and all that stuff about gravity. Have you looked outside of Atlanta lately and seen all these buildings? So you mean to tell me that China is under us? I'm just saying, when I drive from Florida to New York, flat. New York to Seattle,
it's not flat.
Seattle down to LA, flat. LA back to Florida, flat. It's a,
okay,
it's a square.
Thanks, Shaq. In school, we're showing some of these other accomplishments by these ancient cultures. Like these ruins. You can't even fit a fingernail between these things. Or like these giant megaliths, perfectly cut. Or these pyramids with similarities too obvious to mention, built on exact parallels all across the earth. They didn't show us these pyramids in the ocean off of Cuba. Or off of Indonesia. Or in Antarctica. Because they're hiding the pyramids are actually power machines. We're going to get to that later. Or these enormous dudes on Easter Island, well balanced for a spinning Earth. Check out what happens when you dig into the ground around these guys. Would they get dropped from space? We can't move these things today. Can't explain how these things got built or why they got built, but they know the Earth's spinning. And they know it spins 1,017 miles an hour at the equator. That's 19 miles a second. And of course, this spin is much slower at the axis, the top and the bottom, even though an ounce of gold weighs the same everywhere you go on the Earth. Supposedly, the Earth is traveling around the sun at an incredible 66,000 miles an hour. But also it, and the sun, and the moon, I almost forgot about the moon, which spins around us, and all the spacecraft that are flying around us, and the satellites and the ISS that are all in geosynchronous orbit, are all blasting through space. Now they must keep up with that speed when they're out there in space, right? Because we're all blasting around the sun at 670,000 miles an hour.
Inconceivable!
And apparently the whole thing is expanding out flat at 68 kilometers a second per megaparsec. That converts to 3.3 million miles an hour. Where have I heard that before? How can the universe expand faster than the speed of light? A theory. We, of course, don't feel any of these motions. And contrary to popular belief, the rotation of the Earth has never been scientifically proven. Now I know, you don't want to believe me about the unproven spin thing, but we'll get to the Michelson-Morley, the Bedford level, the Aries failure, the Sagnac experiment, the Michelson-Gale-Peterson experiment in a minute. Now these enormous space numbers have to exist to explain why the stars are in the same place every night and have been always and forever. Always and forever. Always and forever. Supposedly, the Earth travels 186 million miles to the other side of the sun every 6 months. Question: if we live on a ball orbiting around the sun, how is it possible to receive the same stars 6 months apart? Answer: it wouldn't be possible at all, Papa Smurf. A lack of stellar parallax. Angles of parallax only exist in the minds of the observer. Tycho Brahe, my favorite astronomer. Tycho Brahe. Now, super astronomy nerds among you will say, it does move. They do move. The stars move. Polaris moves. How much, you ask? I'm glad you asked that. Polaris moves. It moves 1/15,000th of an inch every 6 months. Wow, that's an incredible measurement. It's crazy. And to think we haven't been to the bottom of the ocean. Siri, how close is the nearest star?
The nearest star is Alpha Centauri. It's 14 trillion light years away.
That's some good vision right there. And to think, I can't even see to the end of this hallway. We live on a linear, flat, stationary, non-rotating Earth. As said so in this NASA document right here about flight. Alright, there we go. I'm in the Matrix, in the Matrix, hey! So thanks. If you made it this far, thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. I know this was a tough one to get through. There's a lot of information. I promise the next ones are going to be more fun. So everybody, be kind. Take care of yourselves. I love you all. Thank you, especially you over there.
Hold up here. Certainly. Picture you refer to the spies. Spies like us. Spies like us. Comme nous in French. Nice to know.
Always and forever. That was perfect.